It's hard. It is hard to pick. I know it
Yeah.
sounds like you sound like a cliched parent going, "No, I can't pick my favorite child." Because yeah, they do all mean different stuff to you. I mean, I was really, really pleased with the.
And it's 9 months, 11 episodes. So I'm an editor myself, and watching that made me anxious. Just thinking the sheer amount of footage you must have had to work with. What was it
Yeah.
like going through all of that footage?
It was fun. I mean, I remember when I first got back, and I was like, right, I better start putting this all into Final Cut and organizing it and seeing if we've actually got a series here, because I wasn't sure if we'd filmed enough. And the strangest bit was looking at the footage of us at Heathrow Airport at the start, because I hadn't watched any of the footage whilst we were away, because the laptop I took with me was like dying the entire time, so I couldn't really watch any of it back. And seeing us at the airport just felt like a lifetime ago. It didn't feel like 9 months, felt like 3 or 4 years. And James looked so young and so different. The thing is, the haircut James has at the start of the trip,
he really changed throughout the trip.
he had that haircut the entire time I'd known him, which had already been like 10 years. So he'd always looked like that. But then across the trip, he grew his hair and got a tan and all that. And so it was so weird, like barely recognizing that, even though that's the version of him I've known the longest time. So that was cool. But then it's just, in terms from an editing perspective, people go, how do you edit 9 months of footage? It's not like you get the whole footage and put it on a massive timeline and start. Like, you just break it up to country and then place and then activity, and you sort of break it all down to the little moments and then just start building it back up again. So it's sort of, you're just editing one day or one location at a time, rather than thinking about, oh God, I've got 9 months. I mean, it took about a year to edit.
Oh, really? Wow.
But not like, it wasn't like a year non-stop. It was like I got back to a full-time job, and I was sort of doing it like in the evenings or when no one was looking at my computer screen or stuff like that. So yeah, it took a while, but it was worth it.
So your documentaries are brilliant, and the storytelling element of it perhaps is what sets it apart from others. When did you learn to produce those style of films?
I mean, they were sort of, I was trying to aim for that style the whole time. So it wasn't, because some people sort of see my channel who've only just discovered my channel, they sort of think, oh, what made you do those kind of documentaries rather than vlogs? And it's like, oh, I wasn't doing it instead of vlogs or a reaction to vlogs. It's just vlogs weren't really around when I started doing it. I was just copying the travel documentaries I liked on TV, like the ones I mentioned already, like Long Way Round. So it was just kind of trying to copy that. And it's also, I think, because I want people to watch it, I want them to feel like they're on the trip with us, and sort of big escapism. They hit play and they forget they're sitting in front of their TV. And I think the way you do that is just by being honest about the experience. Like, because if you just sort of say everything's amazing and awesome, then it just gets real boring really quick. Whilst if you show, whilst we were having the time of our lives and best 9 months ever, not every moment was perfect. And some, you got the shitty journeys and the days you're tired and things don't meet your expectations. And you kind of, show the peaks and troughs, and then it tells a more engaging story. And also the audience is with you. So if they've seen you when times are bad or when times are tiring, they'll believe you when you sort of say, no, this is the most beautiful place ever. So it's just, I think it's just taking the audience actually on the journey rather than just a happy montage of everything being perfect.
And in terms of the shots which you secure, from a filmmaker perspective, and also people who are listening to this who perhaps want to get into filmmaking in the future, what kind of shots do you make sure you secure when you're on a trip?
I think the first thing you want to get is your reaction. Like filming like if I show up at a place like a beautiful viewpoint, before I'll film the view, I'll film our immediate reaction, because you can't fake that. You can film yourself 2 hours later going, oh yeah, it was really beautiful, but nothing beats that wide-eyed initial reaction. So I always get the reaction first, and then after that, get your shots of like the wide shot of the view and whatever. So it's always capturing the emotion first. And I usually sort of, if we're visiting like I don't know, Machu Picchu or whatever, I'll do like the cold hard facts about the place in voiceover rather than worrying about saying it on the day. On the day, I'll just focus on, how does it feel to be there? Because that's sort of the more engaging stuff. So it's just always focus on capturing the emotion, and then once you've done that, then you can start thinking, all right, what shots do I need to sort of what shots do I need to tell that story? If I'm just saying, oh, this place is beautiful, then you need a shot of it. You can't just have a shot of your face because they won't see they won't see what you're looking at.
And you mentioned that first trip was it to Lauterbrunnen, where you first
Yeah, so we were staying that trip. We stayed in Interlaken because we're staying at a hostel, and we were there in the winter for like a festival. So it was really cool. It was obviously really cool. It was winter, but yeah, that's one of my favorite places in the world. That spot.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you were kind of a bit nervous talking to camera, and obviously when you've never done that before, I've done it in the past, and even I get so awkward doing it now.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get comfortable speaking to a camera, especially in like a public situation?
I mean, I'm a lot better at it now than I used to be. It does take a while. I think there's a big improvement of me on camera from HK10Y to the next series after that was Quest for Everest. I think there's a big improvement on camera, and I think you grow confidence through editing it, right? Like, because all the stuff that you mess up or where you sound miserable or crap, you can just edit out. No one's going to see it. So like, I come across on camera really articulate, and that's because I've edited it. It doesn't mean I'm actually articulate. It's just you cut out the bits. So maybe you'll make a joke and it's just the worst joke ever. And it's like, well, no one has to see that. So it's having confidence and knowing that you can get rid of the bad bits, and it's just practice. And because there are bits on the HK2Y series where I'm sort of feel a bit tired or not uncomfortable, and then so my go to default when I'm a bit uncomfortable is say something a bit cynical or sarcastic. So there are bits in that series where I watch it back now going like, you sound so miserable. And it's like, I wasn't miserable. I was just feeling a bit awkward or whatever,
Yeah. And do you have a favorite documentary that you've ever made?
It's hard. It is hard to pick. I know it sounds like you sound like a cliched parent going, no, I can't pick my favorite child. Because they do all mean different stuff to you. I mean, I was really pleased with the Morocco series from last year. That was the first tour that I'd hosted and organized, and it was because we had a brilliant guide with us. It was also really funny, and it had like a group of people who are all up for being on camera, and so it had sort of had the sort of perfect balance for me for what I like of sort of information and banter. Like if it's all cold hard information, it could get a bit dull. If it's all banter, it's a bit like, all right, well, we weren't there and get on with the story. But there's that. And I think the Quest for Everest series as well, I was really pleased with, because I learned so much from making HK2NY. I sort of got to apply it to the Quest for Everest. And like when you're filming a trip, you sort of have to make peace with the fact you're not going to be able to capture every moment and every best bit, but you sort of, hopefully you'll capture the spirit of the trip. And it's a bit like when someone adapts a book to a movie. It's like, well, we can't film every page, but we'll try and capture the spirit of it. And so in terms of using that analogy, I think the Quest for Everest trip was a lot better adaptation. It was like a lot closer to that's a lot closer to what it was like. Not that HK2NY is anything about it is false or anything, but it just it's just the sort of, when I came to edit that, I was like, oh, if only we filmed that. If only we filmed that was Quest for Everest. We had it.